The past week has been something of a whirlwind for the Final Fantasy VII Remake, as there have been some significant changes taking place with regards to the development of the game. It's culminated in Square Enix deciding to take development in-house instead of working with CyberConnect 2, their previous external partner. It means that the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been thrust back into the spotlight, whether Square Enix intended it to be or not. And this could be good or bad timing depending on what they were planning to do at E3 2017. But this video isn't here to talk about how Square Enix feel. It's to talk about what you guys should expect from the Final Fantasy VII Remake at the biggest video gaming spectacle on Earth, E3 2017. Before we get onto that though, I think we have to appreciate that as a property, the Final Fantasy VII Remake has a rather close relationship with E3, which dates all the way back to 2005 when they showed off the infamous technical demo for the PlayStation 3. It was designed under the guidance of Motomo Toriyama to show the graphical capabilities of Sony's newest console, which was due to release in Japan later that year, and it was featured alongside other demonstrations like the infamous Killzone 2 pre-rendered trailer and also one from MotorStorm. It also wasn't the first time that Square, or even Square Enix, had created a technical demo to highlight either their capabilities or that of an upcoming console. They created Final Fantasy VI, the interactive CG game, to highlight their capabilities with real-time 3D graphics, which would later be put to use in Final Fantasy VII, and the Final Fantasy VIII technical demo, which saw the ballroom dance scene remade for the PlayStation 2. In more recent times, Agni's Philosophy and Witch Chapter 0 Cry have been made to showcase Square Enix's Luminous engine, and then how they can work with DirectX 12. But with the Final Fantasy VII technical demo, they planted a seed within the fanbase that over the years that followed would sprout into a real desire for a full-on Final Fantasy VII Remake with current generation graphics. It started off as a slow burn, but by 2007 fan petitions were created, receiving over 20,000 signatures, something that was enough for Square Enix to issue a formal response. They said, "Our parent company, Square Enix of Japan, has no current plans to create a sequel or remake to that particular title at this time. That's not to say that it will never happen, it's just that their development teams are currently focusing on numerous other projects." Square Enix would then repeatedly get asked about this topic for years, and they always remained coy. In 2012, for example, Nomura said that there was a lot of desire to remake Final Fantasy VII internally, but they were instead focused on making new titles. However, in 2015, the dream of many became a reality as the Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced on the world stage. But since then, very little has actually happened. We've had small chunks of information that help to set some degree of expectation, such as the fact that it won't be a self-contained game and will instead be told over multiple parts, and the fact that it won't be turn-based anymore. But outside of that, very little is still known. Which brings us on to E3 2017. Towards the end of last year, Tetsuya Nomura went on record as saying that while he appreciates they've shown very limited information about the game so far, he wants to show progress during an event at some point during 2017. Soon after, of course, he showed off some screenshots at the Monaco Anime Gaming International Conference 2017, conducted some interviews and held a talk. And it was as this talk was wrapping up that he said he wanted to show some gameplay footage, but the company refused. It means there's clearly an appetite, at least on Nomura's part. We just have to hope that the company agrees. Either way, as with the initial reveal of the Final Fantasy VII Remake back in 2015, E3, specifically the Sony press conference, is surely the grandest stage of all for them to show off some new gameplay footage and even reveal a new character, if only to serve as a prominent reminder that the Final Fantasy VII Remake still actually exists. I think it's often easy to forget, as we're so ingrained in the franchise as fans, that outside of our little bubble, Square Enix has actually done very little to show off the game to the mass market. There was obviously the reveal at E3 2015, but the game's last showing came not too long after that at the 2015 PlayStation Experience, which was now 1.5 years ago. And with so many other games on the market, they need to make sure they keep front of mind, so a new trailer would make perfect sense. I mean, if I were Square Enix, that's exactly what I would be thinking about doing right now. Get the fans excited, reassure them that everything is going well, and make the wider mass market gaming audience know that the Final Fantasy VII Remake is still a big deal. The only red herring, of course, does come with the recent news and hints around release dates. We don't know how much the shift to internal development has affected the game's release schedule, and if it affected it in a negative way, they probably don't want to be shining even more light on it right now. But even if that is the case, at a bare minimum, I therefore expect at least some form of reassurance or clarification to come out of E3, most likely via an interview conducted with a Japanese publication. So yeah, best case we're going to get a trailer during the Sony press conference, worst case we will probably get some small nuggets through interviews with staff members, but either way I'm expecting at least something to happen. What do you guys think they should show around the Final Fantasy VII Remake for this year's E3? Are you expecting a new trailer and gameplay like I am, or do you think it's just too unlikely? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to support our channel and increase your chances in upcoming giveaways, please be sure to head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/FFunion. These amazing folks here have already done so why not consider joining them? Alright, thank you so much for watching guys, this is Daryl signing out, I will see you next time.